Sit down.
I'm good.
Sit down. I want to sit down.
Okay, you go sit.
So I just wanted to talk about Mom in terms of what a good role model she was as far as hostessing and prioritizing family, prioritizing enjoying one another, and how it skips a generation, because she always modeled being so put together, everything planned out way ahead, and everything perfect for when guests came over, and just so she could stop fiddling around with food and start paying attention to the people around her. And then she had this spazzy daughter.
Oh, Mary.
Not Mary. Tom is a consummate host. Mary is a consummate hostess. I'm a much better hostess in my going into my elder years than I was. But I know she always wanted my children to be as put together as her children were, and it was really hard to live up to Shirley. And I know that the joy of Mom's life was coming back to Iowa, or having people from Iowa come to her place in Montana so she could just be with everybody. And even in her last couple of years when she was really struggling to stay with it and remember who everyone was and recognize people, she always recognized me when I came to see her, and sometimes started calling me Mary by the end of the day. And but she always recognized our family and remembered family. And about a month before she passed away, she had that terminal rally that they talk about, where a lot of people are fooled that something's magically getting fixed with this dementia, and all of a sudden she woke up for about maybe a week.
Yeah.
Lasted pretty long, and all of a sudden she knew who everybody was. She saw pictures of Hillary's baby and was like, Hillary's a mom, and she asked me, who's is Charlie? Did Charlie die? And and I had told her everybody who was still on the planet, and all the people that have passed in the past few years. And I know she wasn't really aware that Bev Parker had died. When Joyce died, she registered it and said, but then forgot really fast and didn't really seem to mourn that. And when I thought about Joyce and Bev being gone, and they were the three musketeers, and for so long, but those 4 days that she woke up, she wanted to know exactly who was still here and who was gone. And I talked to her a lot about, are you afraid? And she said, I think I'm gonna die, and I was like, yeah, you are, Mom, it's gonna happen soon. And she said, I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid that I'll miss the parties. And I'll miss she said, what am I gonna miss? And I said, we're gonna miss you at the parties, Mom, but everybody's gonna remember you. Everybody's gonna talk about you all the time, and most of the parties are happening on the other side now. So you go there and be with Charlie and be with everybody. And it was really simplistic, because she couldn't use real sophisticated language, but she wasn't simplistic inside. She was very, very intelligent and with it the whole time. And I said, we'll be right behind you, because we can all feel the wheel turning. I'm sure Eddie can feel the wheel turning. That's surviving.
You don't mean it like that.
I don't know the last sibling, 5 siblings. I must be really hard.
Okay.
Go say
Now let me turn it over to Eddie.
Oh, no.
How you doing?
Lori,
Yes.
since Chris and Ed's family showed up, do you want to repeat your last sentence?
I just said we can all feel the wheel turn.
And Ed's
But
turning.
I know that this past year has been really hard for me because of everybody we lost so fast in the past 3 or 4 years, and it just feels like the end of a beautiful era, and I just don't want anybody to forget how lucky we are to come from this family and this group of people. You know, we can't even hardly tell we're redheads anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Well, I suppose Tom and the rest of your family would like to say something, but I was looking through some pictures here, and you may recognize this. Are the pictures here?
oh, there, she's presenting her host, is that a hoska?
That's
She's presenting something that she likes to do.
that's kind of a follow-up to what you were talking about, because the thing that we remember, or one of the things that we remember about not just your mother but your folks and stuff like that, was when we visited them in Montana.
Uh-huh.
And this picture here kind of represents what Sherry and I remember of that trip, when she taught us that presentation is everything.
That's what I did learn from her.
Presentation is everything. Yeah, presentation is everything. My brother Charlie was born in 1929, and then Don in 31. Joyce was born in 33. Shirley was born in 36, and I was born in 1945, substantially older than the rest of those kids. So basically, my two sisters were the ones that I remember and raised me.
Yeah.
And I remember, of course, Shirley and stuff like that, and all the things that they did for me, or to me. And so, I just had a great upbringing, and I always just adored these girls, and had such a great time with them. And so, my memories are all good, as they are with you and stuff like that. And so, today is very nostalgic
Look behind you.
for me.
Look at the
The picture,
the picture on the TV.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
you and the two
Look at
ladies.
that.
Yeah.
So, it's really kind of nostalgic for me, for these two sisters, because the older boys were gone and stuff like that, and so these are the ones that I remember. I remember my brothers for later years and stuff like that, but they were so special, really special, and I hope that everybody remembers that.
Joyce always told me that you said she was the favorite one, and then Shirley said, Mom said, he told me I'm the favorite.
So, whenever I was with those girls, it was one or the other.
There was a time or two they were both there though, and then
Yeah, they got a little heated.
Kind of had to go with the
You
flow.
had to.
Kind of depended what room you were in. So, as I don't have much time left.
And I guess that I'm real excited to go out to the cemetery with my kids today, because I think we finally filled all the empty sides of the tombstones now.
Wow.
I think every pair that pledged to be with each other forever, you know, that's been perfected now. Every pair is together, and every pair will be there for eternity. And I think the new pairs that are forming, you know, there's a lot to learn by going out there today and seeing that with enough love and enough commitment to people, it can happen. You know, there's 3 generations of partnerships out there that will be there for the rest of eternity. And I get excited by that, because I think sometimes seeing that it can happen, and that it has happened, and especially this group. This group has, and even evidenced by today, that, you know, with enough love, these partnerships that you form or are born into can last forever. if there's enough love and work put into it. So I want my kids to see that and feel that this is the family that's worth fighting for. And it will last.
Mary didn't tell us we needed our Kleenexes today. Where's the box of Kleenexes?
And I know this is mom coming home.
Yeah, I
Was,
feel great
was what
now.
she wanted.
More than anything.
Yeah.
I feel great now because the whole waiting, once we have her at Campton Cemetery next to Dad and with Grandma and Grandpa, everybody else all around, I will be at peace too.
So yeah, I'm excited to go out there and cement that last partnership for all time. And,
I think Hillary's gonna talk for me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm too much of a crier.
What memories come to mind when I think of Grandma Hardin? Easy. It's fresh baked cookies and cinnamon rolls and pies and meals for that matter. Memories of Shunky Fleck and Yamaseti. And to those married into the family, if those words sound made up to you, we can talk about that. It's memories of Grandma eating a snack while watching Dr. Phil. It's the way she would come to visit and dive deep into your junked up closets and have the place looking immaculate before she left. I think of how she teared up anytime she had to say goodbye. I think of summers in Montana and how much effort she put into making them fun for us. Whether it was taking us to pick berries or to watch plays, grabbing an ice cream cone and hitting a video store, signing me up for basketball camp, or taking us to visit the horses and the mules. You know how that
I still can't do mules.
We got bitten by a mule out there in Montana.
It was her bashful giggle whenever she heard a story that was even a tiny bit shameful. She was a woman who strived to put her best foot forward. It's easy to come to the conclusion that Miss Shirley Ray Hardin had it all together. Now, from a relatively new mother's eyes, I see things a bit differently, but they're just as beautiful. I see her humble beginnings, her early accomplishments, her devoted marriage, her nurturing mothering and grandmothering and great-grandmothering, her dedication to self-improvement. Even more importantly, I see what she leaves behind, her legacy, her children who then had their own children. She's created this remarkable family that I call my own. You're all pretty cool. In fact, it's your opinions that matter most to me in this world. Why? Because you're all fair, honest, hardworking, deeply loving individuals who show up for each other. And what a testament that is to the person Grandma was and Grandpa too. How to end this? That was the tricky part for me. I'll end this by saying I'll think of Grandma when I'm listening to Que Sera Sera, or I'll Be Home for Christmas, when I'm eating a ginger cookie or peanut brittle. I'll think of Grandma when I slash kill at Rummy, or when the Christmas Story comes on. I'll think of Grandma anytime I see an exceptionally good-looking yard sale. I'll think of Grandma often, and I'll be so grateful when I do. Sleep well, Grandma. We love you.
Oh, that's beautiful, Hillary. Thanks, Hillary.
Well, I'll jump in and just make one short comment that, I mean, I always thought Aunt Shirley and Uncle Howard were like the coolest aunt and uncle, even though present company accepted. Because, you know, I never saw your mom when she wasn't made up, I mean, because it was always Christmas or, you know, and of course your dad was, you know, nice looking and, you know, he did everything right and and they're both very smart and stuff. But when I went down and visited them when I lived in Dallas, and I drove over and visited them one time, and when your dad took me over to Juarez, and he had to get his hair cut. So this is just an indication of how much they were in love and a partner. But he went over and he got his hair cut. I don't think we had a drink over there, but he bought a big cigar, one of the big dog turd looking cigar. Bought this parrot thing, a ceramic parrot thing. I don't know, and I don't think Shirley asked him to buy it. and anyway, so we got back through, and he brought in this parrot, and I could see the look on your mom's eyes, and I don't know what she would have said if I wasn't in the room, but she kept it together, and I think I saw that parrot when I came back for somebody's wedding. It was squirreled away somewhere, but he had bought it for her, and she accepted it, and it's just like, you gotta love somebody when you hang something like that in your room.
I will accept your
Yeah.
paper mache parrot.
Yeah, it was. Oh, Shirley will love it. And he had that big cigar and he'd laugh.
Clearing out Mom's estate. We now think that she is one of the tidiest hoarders you've ever seen. Every closet packed with shoes, outfits. I mean, but so organized and so clean that you can't really. I mean, all her garage sale glass labeled, where she got it, Oh my God.
Well,
Wow.
the other thing I remember is when she got a paper towel and like picked something off the tile floor. Well, then you guys got to tell him because her house was spotless.
Always, yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, Mom must have. How many times did she bend down and clean the tile? Or
Dad loved to take pictures of her when she was bent over.
Oh, maybe that was how they. Oh.
Pictures of her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he used to buy her all kinds of gaudy jewelry.
Yeah, loved to buy her.
That's maybe he was it's like if she's keeping she'll stay with me if she keeps keeps accepting this.
But he was like that. He would buy, like, he bought their house in Montana without her.
She didn't get to see it.
And he would buy these gems that he
Yeah.
thought in Juarez were the most beautiful thing, and I think she would always look at her and go, pick something else. She was always gracious with Dad.
Well, so the other thing is was it Juarez so John bought my dad a Rolex, ROLECKS. But how many times? I mean, he wore that for how long?
Long time.
And it was but he would always bring it up, and so he was the it's like, well, Dad, I bought you a few things over the years, but he's had a Rolex, and it's not spelled with an X. But, anyway. Oh, come on in, make an entrance.
Your mommy's over here.
Here, I'll step out of the way.
Ah!
Can you pull down your dress Yeah, I can do it.
Well, you mentioned family. When we get back later and have lunch, we do have the DVD of the 1972 second annual Peck Pool Tournament.
Oh, boy.
And, Joel sounds like Tommy used to sound. I can't believe you'll hear Ed in there. I don't think you talked much back then, so I think you did say a few words. But Ed, Charlie, Dad, Donnie is an MC. Howard was an interviewer for that. So it takes about an hour. But I hope everybody has a chance because you hear all these.
You hear all the old voices.
Yeah, and Dad won for the second year in a row.
Lindsay changed her mind and she's gonna tell us what she
good.
wants.
Yeah, this is very informal because I just have I don't know if I can do it, but I have a letter that I wrote Grandma a couple years before she passed away because I just didn't see her very much. I'm not good at reading out loud when I'm sad. So I asked Tom to read this to her and he did, and I wasn't quite sure how much she took in or not, but it just has memories, and it's very similar to Hillary's, lots of memories from Montana, so I just wanted to read a little bit, but it's like it was to Grandma, so so I just sent it to her and I apologize because we didn't get to see her as much as we wanted, everyone being spread out, and one thing that I loved was how much time I got to spend with her as a child. It was really impactful in my life, and I wanted her to know that. I wanted to get to tell her before she died. So I just said,
You can pass it off.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Pass it to me.
You can start there. It's just start on the one that says so.
It says, okay, so I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you that I love you so much. You mean more to me than I can say.
And besides my mother, you were the single most important adult in my life. If you hadn't stepped in to support my mom and care for Marshall and I when she returned to college, she probably wouldn't have been able to finish her degree. And without that, our lives would have been so different. She would have been working a lower paying job that didn't allow her to see us after school and during the summers. I wouldn't have had the benefit of watching my mother in her professional career, and I also wouldn't have had that time with you. And some of my best and earliest memories are from my time at your house in El Paso. It's of course the little things that I remember the most. You making my favorite tuna sandwich every day, walking down the street to visit with all your neighbor friends. Oh, she had great friends who all adored you. You were always the most popular lady on the block, holding me in your lap to read a book, and your beautiful home decked out for the different holidays. And later, those treasured childhood memories shift to Montana. I can remember more because I was older, and the memories have an almost magical quality because Montana was so exotic compared to El Paso. Our summers with you were precious time together. I remember how connected you were to the land around us, even if you weren't typically outdoorsy like Grandpa. The time you spent tending your beautiful flowers every day, walking to the end of the lane every night to feed the horses, picking wild rhubarb from the woods around the house, driving to Stevensville to pick fresh cherries from your friend's tree, and then baking them into a pie that same day. You always put yourself in our shoes, trying to imagine what us kids would like to do. You'd arrange for us to do so many fun things in the community. We went to Native American powwows, rode horses in the Creamery picnic, visited the Daly Mansion, attended children's theater, and I could name many more. Even though you had a big pond in the backyard, you took Marshall and us down to the Bitterroot River to swim in the ice-cold water. All by yourself, I might add, with a picnic packed. And she was afraid of water, of kids in water. She was really scared because she didn't swim well. She could swim, but not well, and she was afraid something would happen, get sucked downstream or whatever. It was such a beautiful place and thrilling to swim against the current. I remember that you were part of the garden club in Stevensville, and you would always involve me in their activities. You helped me make a flower arrangement for the garden show one year, even though I had never arranged a flower in my life. And one year we helped with the apple dumpling fundraiser, spending an afternoon peeling buckets of apples with your friends and gossiping. And of course, I have lots of memories of garage sailing. Even though you are not a morning person, you scoped out the listings in the newspaper and made sure we and usually one or two of your friends were up early for the good ones. You always have a closet full of beautiful glassware, clothing, and household items. How did you always find the most stylish piece in all the junk? And you usually paid something ridiculously low for it, like $10 for an entire set of dishes. And she did give each of her granddaughters a set of china. She had a full set for every granddaughter. And I don't know. Grandma, I could keep going with the memories, and I intend to keep writing them down so I can share more with you when I see you in person this fall, and then the rest is. Do you want me to finish?
Yeah, because that's.
I wouldn't be who I am today or have had the wonderful childhood that I did if it weren't for you. The greatest compliment I've ever gotten is that I take after you. Thank you for all that you've done for me and for our family. Above all, please know this, you are deeply loved. Love, Lindsay.
Very nice.
I just have one. Bev and I went to Montana visit. Two things about that trip. We were gonna stay there, so we went and took our suitcases in and set them in the room. And when we went to go to bed that night, that's the first time I ever had a pitcher of water and two glasses right beside the. And the other thing was, that evening, we were sitting there talking and the phone rang. And your mom answered and she said, oh, well, I'll check. She said, Howard, I think our credit card got hacked because somebody charged $1,500 in England. And he said, that's okay. Bought a shotgun in England.
1,500 or 15,000?
I remember 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, thanks, everybody.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Help
memories.
your mommy out.
Good
Thanks
memories.
for that, and